Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be doing a Something Bad Tuesday since last week's was what I would have done. And for this Something Bad, I wanted to focus in on something in particular that I think I sort of addressed with a previous video where I discussed reality TV, and now I think not the entirety of reality TV, but the majority of reality TV does not really hold a significant value in regards to entertainment or entertainment quality. So I kind of wanted to, in particular, discuss one channel that I think's had a huge impact in regards to sort of reality TV and in regards to reaching out to certain demographics. And that channel is MTV. Yes, we're going to discuss MTV and why I think it's kind of bad. I don't think everything, though, on MTV is horrible. I don't think everything that MTV has to offer is necessarily bad, but I think the majority, like when you're looking at the majority, I think the majority of what MTV provides is not really that is not really that valuable or that interesting or that insightful when it comes to trying to reach teenagers in particular, because teenagers are a big demographic for MTV. In particular, teenagers, I think you could classify young adults too, because there's still some 20-somethings, I think, that watch MTV too. And I don't mean the MTV2 channel, I just mean MTV2 as in they watch it as well as teenagers. But basically, back in the day, MTV originally started out in, I believe, the later 80s and early 90s in being a channel dedicated more to music and to music videos and to commentary on music. And that's why you have MTV, because it stands for music television originally. And in particular, originally their main demographic was teenagers. Now, I think they did have some kind of programming, in particular Beavis and Butthead, I think, was one of the more popular ones. But a majority of it was focused in on music and trying to reach teenagers in particular in regards to music. And it kind of sort of changed its whole formatting and its whole approach, because now the majority of what MTV is focused on is trying to target, again, teenagers and young adults, but in a way that's sort of different than what they were originally doing. And instead they focus on trying to have reality TV shows being a big portion of the shows that are available on MTV to watch, and in particular television series too, although they kind of come and go, I guess. So it just kind of, I guess, varies as to what you dislike and like in regards to MTV. And I'm not saying that everything that MTV has to offer is necessarily bad. I'm not saying that everything in regards to MTV is horrible. I just feel like the bad of MTV sort of outweighs the good quality that MTV could potentially offer to teenagers. So yes, that's what I mean. And usually when I'm doing a something bad video, I'm not saying that everything in regards to that topic is necessarily bad, but I feel like the majority of it does not really offer any substance or value, in my honest opinion. Now let me explain why I think MTV does not really offer a lot of constructive value to teenagers. I think it really started with these reality TV shows. In particular, I think with the 16 and Pregnant, the Teen Mom. There's a lot of true life episodes that I would say that I couldn't, like some that I could not get through because they were just so horrible, and a lot of the people are just so dislikable. There's just a lot with MTV that just focuses on trying to to approach things in a very sort of non-sophisticated sort of way, like sort of like treating teenagers like they're dumb and that they don't know any better, and this is the best that you can do when you're a teenager. So just be done with us because we're MTV. And I think it sort of just degrades its audience, kind of, especially with the people that they choose to have portrayed on the screen. And I just feel like there's just so much unlikability in regards to a lot of the people that are shown on MTV. And I think a lot of that has to just do with the fact that it has focused on trying to reach this teen demographic, but not really in an insightful or in an interesting way. Again, there might be some changes. I mean, MTV seems to be doing a lot of changes now. I mean, originally MTV was largely based in reality TV, but now it's trying to make some TV series. I haven't really looked into a whole lot of those. What I can say for the most part is it's kind of just, it's okay. But it does feel, though, that there is this kind of downgrade to the audience when it comes to reaching to teenagers. Like, yeah, we're going to talk down to you, and we're going to tell you how high school is like, and what the, like, they make, it's like sort of a, I guess certain things are really just over exaggerated, I think. The only one that I think appeared somewhat realistic was, again, the TV show Made, which again was based in reality TV. That had at least some kind of realistic way of trying to approach teenagers and trying to, get them to be on a more, getting them to be on a more mature level, and trying to, kind of lift them up from whatever struggles that they were trying to overcome. But I feel like the majority of what MTV has to offer is that it just kind of just downgrades its audience. And I think that's really what the major issue I have with MTV is, this whole complete, and I guess, inability to take teenagers really seriously. And I just think that a lot of it is just so overdone, and I think just a lot of it I can't describe in another word besides being trashy. Like, I feel just the way people express themselves is just so lacking of class and any sophistication. Like, it's like it's almost like we have to think, yeah, this is how we should behave, and this is how, we have to hammer in that whole idea of, yeah, this is what a teenager means, this is what you need to do as a teenager, and you need to do this in order to fit in, and blah 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 blah. And I just think it kind of just downgrades everything. There are some few insightful things that maybe do come out of MTV in regards to their reality TV shows and some of their series, I'm sure, or TV series. But I think the majority, like the bulk of what gets like overly marketed and overly emphasized, at least to me, a lot of it is focused on trying to be again, this like trashy, unlikable, unlikable just thing. Like, everything that MTV, or majority of what MTV tries to spew, is just so, to me, it's just so unlikable. It's just so overly degrading, and it doesn't really like try to approach things on a more, I think, mature level. I think a lot of it is done for exploitation purposes. I feel like a lot of it is done to make the audience feel like that there is such a level that they have to be on, and this level is MTV. And and to me, I just don't buy into it. I just don't feel like what MTV is feeding me is really what really the reality of the situation is when it comes to certain things and certain issues that teenagers go through. And I think teenagers are impressionable. I mean, I was impressionable when I was a teenager. I mean, who wasn't impressionable when they were a teenager? You know, you're still not fully an adult. I mean, you're still going through the transition. You obviously are going to are obviously going to have some kind of influence within your life, and a lot of that influence really does come from media in particular. Regardless of, I think, what people like to say. I mean, you can argue what percentage, but I think media does play a role in particular with this group of people. And there's a lot of people, I feel, that can have this impressionable mind. And it's not to say that they can't approach things in a way that's fairly funny or entertaining or, you know, somewhat realistic. I just think that a lot of it is based more on exploitation. I think they are trying to be a little bit smarter with, like, putting in maybe some series that are a little bit more adult in the teenage sense, by treating teenagers as a little bit more adult and a little bit more mature. But I still think the bulk of what is there, to me, is just kind of supposed to be sort of, you know, exploitation and designed to be like a drama fest of whatever that's going on the screen. Like, oh, this huge drama, woo. Yeah, because yeah, that's what teenagers like, obviously, drama. And I'm not going to deny that, but I just feel like that there's just a way smarter, more interesting way of approaching it than the programming that they have been shelling out over the years. And I think it just goes without saying that it's just a channel that kind of knew that they needed to see if they could knew and sought out, basically, their audience. And I think they knew, like, once they started in the late 80s and early 90s, they started to figure out, okay, this is who our audience is. And they maybe didn't realize it along the way, or maybe they do, but ultimately a lot of their programming is not designed to be all that engaging or all that interesting, and it's just designed to exploit people and make money, and I just can't support that. I'm sorry. No matter how hard I try, I just can't do it. And I mean, I don't mind certain things that MTV is trying to push forward, but I think that there are just certain better ways of doing it that can be insightful. I just don't think that they're at that level yet, at least in my opinion. I still think that they can get there. It's just right now they're still just trying to be all about, the majority being about exploitation and trying to kind of downgrade their audience instead of trying to take things and look at it through a realistic perspective. And I think really Made was the the show that really took actual teenagers and, tried to do something to improve their lives. And I think a lot of the shows that they've had that have been popular over the years have kind of put teenagers down, I think. Almost, I don't know if intentionally or unintentionally, but like when I just look and see what's there, I just feel like, wow, this poor demographic. I mean, I mean, are really all teenagers like this? Like, am I completely, just over the hill here? I mean, I don't know. It's just very strange how certain things have changed over the years, I guess. My brother's just interrupting me. But yeah, I think ultimately though that's really all I can say. But yeah, MTV mostly bad. You're getting there, maybe a little, trying. Maybe in a couple of years, you'll dump all the reality, shows and exploitation, and geared towards maybe being a little bit smarter in how you approach these things and approach certain issues. Maybe you'll be a little more resourceful in how you target your demographic. But yeah, I think ultimately that's really all I can say in regards to MTV, and sort of my reasonings as to why I think the majority of what it has to offer is bad. But yes, I think though that's ultimately all I can say. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And again, this is not against anybody who loves MTV and loves everything about MTV. This is just my honest personal opinion, and you can take that for whatever it's worth. But I hope to see you all in the next video, and thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.